Hey y'all, I'm Aubrey Shaw, and our latest Austin real estate stats have just come out, and I want you to be the first to know about them. So let's get into it. First of all, there are a couple of ways for you to pull statistics, right? So with our real estate stats, we talk about year over year, comparing it to the previous year, or we can look month over month and we'll compare it to the previous month. Some of the infographics in this email are month over month data, but in general, I will be talking about year over year stats for Austin, Texas. And that's mainly because a lot of us that have been in this industry for a long time, we're waiting for this market to turn, right? We had these high hikes starting in 2020, ending mid 2022. And since then, number of sales have been down, volume of sales has been down, pricing has been down, and we are waiting for that to flip. So we will be talking about year over year stats, and I'll start with the good news. Number of sales is going up. We have beaten out 2023 for number of sales, 2024 for number of sales, and we are right on the tails of beating out 2025 for number of sales. We are just 2% down from 2025's number of sales. Our volume of sales, the dollar amount that is spent on real estate, that's up 4%. We are beating out all of those previous years just back to the hike of it. So we're seeing more transactions, more volume exchanging hands, and that's a good sign. It means that the demand is back in our market, and it is higher than our last 3 years, 4 years. So good news there. Sold prices. The sold median price is just down 1% over last year. Now, historically, 23, 24, 25, on average, we lost 3% appreciation on our homes citywide in Austin. And this year, with just a 1% loss, it does look like maybe we'll have a smaller loss. Maybe we'll see the comeback this year, but it's finally closing that gap. And so if not by the end of this year, I'm gonna say 2027 will be our comeback year, where we're finally selling more and also hopefully at higher prices than the year before. Our median sold per square foot price is down that 3% that we've seen in previous years. So we'll see how things go. More good news is that pending sales are up almost 10% over last year. That's more of that demand, that sign of demand that we're seeing in our market again. So months of inventory also is just down to 5.4 months currently, and it is lower than last year. So we're seeing more demand and we're seeing less supply. This is the recipe for prices going up for the first time since 2022. So that is what I'm calling our turnaround year. And I'm finally seeing some really serious signs that are pointing in that direction. The pending sales up, fantastic. Less inventory, fantastic. And us beating out some of these prior years since 2022 is great news. Our interest rates for buyers are still sitting right around that 6.5% interest rate. They have just hugged really tight to that. Interest rates are very tied to inflation rates. And so until we see these go down, it's unlikely that we're going to see interest rates go down. There are ways to work around that. There's new homes, there's loan programs. We can ask if the seller will help contribute to buying that rate down. So definitely something to talk about if that interest rate is what's holding you back. What have I missed here? Days on market. Now, even though our inventory is a little lower, year over year, our days on market have gone up about 70%. We're averaging 90 days on market currently for most of our listings. Also interesting enough, and people don't often think about this, not every home sells. A lot of properties will get withdrawn, or they will expire, or those sellers will decide to lease and maybe hold out for a better market in the spring, hopefully. Your odds of selling right now are less than 70% citywide. So really listen to your agent when they're talking about strategy, because once you've racked up several days on market, just a lot fewer people are looking at you, and then you're having to do price reductions to catch up. So it really doesn't set you on the same playing field to overprice and then come down, as it would to just come out really well priced in our current market. So days on market are up, but fewer sales. More sales are happening, more demand. Our prices have still come just slightly down this year by 1%. So we're not seeing what we saw in previous years quite to that extreme yet. New homes, y'all. Let's talk about new homes for a second, because a lot of our statistics have new homes with resale, and it is just a different animal. New home sales, number of sales are up 30% this year over last year. Our number of sales are down just 2% so far over last year in the resale market. So two very, very different markets. New home sales can offer 5% interest rates. They'll give you lots of money for closing costs. And those are things that we can't really offer usually in the resale market. And so they are doing much better. They've done very well since 2022. New home sales are up 30%. It really doesn't serve us well to put resale and new homes in the same bucket, because they're performing very, very differently right now. But yeah, we're starting to see the turnaround. I'd love that for that to be your takeaway. If you'd like to discuss any, real estate topics, or you want to know how your current home is currently valued or performing, real estate is hyper local. So there are these hot little neighborhoods that still just fly off the shelves. Give me a call. I'd love to talk to you about it. I hope y'all have a great week.